Oh my gosh, y'all. I did not know I was live. I was typing something on IG. I hope I didn't say anything incriminating. This is Nikki with Homeschool Knockouts. We are talking about homeschool schedules or routines, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get straight to the nitty gritty. All right, let me just send this, share, and whatever. That did not go through. Okay. I hate IG sometimes. Okay. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Come on in. It is Thursday. Happy Thursday. We are talking about homeschool routines and schedules. I'm going to jump right into it since I wasted the first 40 minutes. Okay. All right. So, what are we talking about today? Let me put the banner up. Homeschool schedules and routines. Do you need one? In a nutshell, yes. And let me tell you why. And before my unschoolers and basically my unschoolers, I love you guys. I have unschooled. Listen, don't turn this off. Let me tell you how you can bring in a framework into your homeschool and still be considered a legitimate unschooler. So the first thing that we want to talk about is, what is a homeschool schedule or a routine, and why do you need one? One reason why you would need a homeschool routine, I'm just going to say routine for now, is, you know, you just winging it day by day. You like, this is let me tell you, there's three methods that I used that did not work. The first one was the wing it method, where I had curriculum that was teacher intensive prepping. I had a lot of stuff to do before I could even teach the lesson. And so I would just kind of wing it and just, hope for the best. So you have that method where you just, I will do math at 9 o'clock. I will do history, whenever, or we'll do science after lunch. Just, I didn't have any direction. It was just like whatever book caught my eye, or whatever book I felt prepared to teach, we would do that. So you're just flying by the seat of your pants. I don't recommend that, because your kids know when no one's flying the plane, right? The second method after the wing it method is, how much can I cram into 1 hour? Maybe you are a household that gets up late in the day and your kids have activities, later on in the day, and you just you have a short homeschool window, believe it or not. So you're like, oh, we got to get, writing and grammar and history and math. We got to get all this done in about an hour and 30 minutes. Hurry up, kids. Come on, get your books out. You're trying to cram a lot of stuff in a short period of time, okay? For whatever reason. Okay, I've only did that once or twice just because I forgot about a field trip and we had to go. So I'm like, okay, let's get the most important thing done. So that would be it's like throwing everything. It's the house on fire. You running out the house. Like, okay, do I have the documents? Do I have my pictures? You just grab that stuff and then you go. Okay, so you have the wing it method. You have the cram everything in 1 hour or so methods. So these are not ideal homeschool routines to have, right? The third method is, well, I kind of liken it to like Einstein. Remember Einstein? He talked about the theory of relativity, which basically is like time is relevant. So, to me, my day might go super, super fast. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock already. For somebody else, it's like, oh my gosh, it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. Time is relative to whomever it is surrounding. So, maybe you do history at midnight and math at 6 in the morning, or, you just go with the flow. Like, time doesn't really mean anything to you. It's just go with the flow. So you have those three methods, and they're not like official methods, but those are three common methods that, especially newer homeschoolers, they fall into, because they don't have, sometimes they're not adequately prepared to teach, or they have a lot going on in their lives. and or they just have a mindset that, let it flow kind of mindset, which is wonderful. But when you're dealing with multiple people in a house, they have multiple things to do. Sometimes that juggling can skewer and make that go with the flow a nightmare. So, what do you do? What do you do? And for those of you in on with me, uh if you want, let us know where you're from. I haven't been saying that lately just so we can hurry up and get going. But, let us know where you're from, what part of the universe. My usual spills. If you have any wins you want to share, I have that crystal bell just waiting for you guys. Okay. Hey, Melissa, you're driving but listening. Awesome. I'll make sure to try to say things that you don't have to see a visual. Like I won't put anything on the screen unless I need to. Okay. So let's start with, hold on, let me get my handy dandy little banners up. So let's start with one. I have 8 tips to help you out with creating a homeschool schedule. Now, mind you, these are general tips. I do have a more in-depth video where I specifically talk about homeschool schedules and routines. I talk about yearly schedules, weekly schedules, daily schedules, loop schedule, block schedules, alternative schedules. Baby, it's a lot. So today I'm just going to touch on some surface things that you can do like immediately, and you don't have to research what this schedule means and all of that kind of stuff. These are just general guidelines to get you going, or to just remind you of things that you can do or things that you used to do. So number 1, are you a morning person or a night owl? Okay, so these are the 7 or 8 tips I'm going to share with you so you can kind of figure out, how do I craft this homeschool routine, Nikki? How do I do it? So, are you a morning person or a night owl? I mean, are you having breakfast, you eating cereal, making bacon at 11 o'clock in the morning? Or are you howling at the moon? When are you when are you up? When is the household up? Mainly you, when I say household, because your kids, will sleep till the cows come home. But what's the general flow in the house? Are you guys early? Are you night? Are you somewhere in between, like a mid-afternoon canary? Find out what that main rhythm is. If your kids are not morning persons, baby, don't be trying to schedule no 16th century British authors at 8 o'clock in the morning, because that's going to be disaster on the horizon for you. Okay. So are you being true to that? Okay. You might have aspirations to get things done early in the morning, or you're confident that you can get things done closer in the evening when you got, dinner and, piano lessons or Girl Scouts or football or soccer. You might be confident you can get homeschooling done then. Be realistic. All right. All right. And anytime you guys have questions, just let me know and I'll stop and answer those questions. Okay. So the second tip, list it down. Okay. Write it down. There's something to be said about hand-eye connection. What are you teaching? You might be teaching 12 subjects and don't realize it. I'm serious. I've seen that. You have all the core subjects, and then you're trying to bring in some extra stuff, like, logic, cooking, vocabulary. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh man, we really are doing a lot. Okay. Which means you might need a loop schedule. But again, write it all down, all the topics you want to cover, and not just the subjects. Maybe like for history, you want to cover, maybe you're studying U.S. history that year. Write down some of the main parts of it that you want to cover, because then you can go online and look for exhibits. Refer back to my video from yesterday, exhibits, museums, digital, virtual, or in person, or events that might, relate to what you're teaching. So write it down so you can see what's going on. You can burn it, origami or whatever afterward. Just write it down so you can just see. And, don't forget to put in things like independent reading. Maybe if you're a Charlotte Mason homeschooler, nature walks. Just, factor in time for your kids to just have release time, like they're not doing anything. So factor that stuff in, but write it down so you can see if you're if you're cramming everything all into one small window. So write it down, and then if you see that I got a lot of stuff going on, refer back to one of my other videos where I talk about loop scheduling. Is it for you? Okay, that's a video for another day. All right, so number 3, time chunks. This is one of my favorite tips for creating a homeschool routine. With time chunks, you're just taking a subject and you're breaking it down, especially if a subject is very intensive or it's difficult for your child. It's a difficult subject or a subject they don't like. With my son, my youngest son, who hated writing, baby, when we chunked, we uh, mm, we went that slowly with breaking everything out. So he would write 3 sentences, I mean, like 3 words each day until he had a whole sentence at the end of the week. I always tell this story because it worked. But chunking is, take your curriculum, look at it, or whatever your learning resource material is, and think, okay, can we do a little bit in the morning or in the afternoon, or the afternoon and the evening? You can break it up. Give your kids a break, right? And then come back to it. Or only study for maybe 20 or 30 minutes for that subject. Okay. Now, for those of you in high school, find out what the state requirements are in your state, because your state might say you have to do a minimum of 45 minutes for this subject or for this grade level, and then you have to meet, the Carnegie hours. So find out what the state requirements are in your state, and then in your house, make adjustments. I'm just saying, okay? So time chunks. So, maybe for science, you're doing labs and you want to, break that up. Maybe you're doing your learning for the science one day and then your lab the next day, or you're doing your learning in the morning and then you do your lab experiment in the afternoon, or vice versa. You just don't have to do everything all in one big chunk of time. You can chop it up and nothing's going to happen. The earth is going to keep spinning. The stars are going to keep lighting up the sky. Okay, so just think about, how can I break all of this up, especially if you're teaching a lot, or if you have multiple kids. Just do a little bit. The work will get done. Okay. Number 4. Okay. My 4th tip for how you can set up your homeschool routine. Y'all, breaks are your best friends. I'm not kidding. Now, for those of you who work outside the house, you look forward to your breaks. You absolutely look forward to your breaks. On pause in French. People want their breaks. Your kids are no different. And you, and I'm talking to you who, you got some gray goose in your cup at 10 o'clock in the morning. You need your breaks too, okay? But your brain needs chill time. It needs processing time. Okay. Don't think of breaks as I'm not doing anything. If you feel they have to be doing something, make that independent reading time. A book of their own choosing. Tell them, get the book, go find the corner and go get lost in another world or another time period. Okay. So you want to get those break times in, just short breaks, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here. Also during those break times, give your kids something to do. You can, if you have multiple breaks throughout the day, maybe a break like after lunch is, hey, go wipe down the counters where you ate lunch and didn't put your garbage away, or you left food everywhere. Quick, go take out the trash or sweep the floors, or everyone stop, 5 minutes, grab everything that's on the floor around the house, race. Number 1, get some running, get some energetic, get some looking for stuff so they're a little bit alert, and then your house stays moderately clean for a few hours at least. So definitely get those break times in. While your kids are doing that, you go do what you do. Okay, mom, dad, educator, go do what you do. Any comments, questions so far? Let me know. All right, next, number 5, get visual. Get visual. I'm looking for, I just made a chart, an IXL spreadsheet. Oh, but I have my kids' names on it. Okay, so this, I'm so happy with this upcoming video that I'm going to make for you guys, how to have a well running ship, how to run a well-oiled ship. But anyway, I love color coding. I have color coded my kids since the beginning of time. It just makes, I think I got it from John and Kate plus 8 for all my old heads back in the days, because she color coded everything. I color code clothes. I just, for me, it's just one less thing I have to think about, and I make the association really quickly, and I can be on autopilot and do other things and just know, okay, boom, boom, boom. So yes, I color code my kids. And so when you're doing maybe a chore chart, or you're doing the schedule of all of their classes, just uh, get color pens or markers and write it down, and then put it up somewhere. Even if you unschool, your child is doing something, okay? So put that up there and color code. The days are doing this, the days are doing that. You know, ad hoc days where they can do whatever they want, but just get it down. Just write it down and do it in color, so it kind of sticks a little bit, right? In this book, hold on, y'all. I did a book club on this book because this book changed my life. Okay. And he talks about, how to have a successful routine. And part of it that helped me was, once you have everything written out, or, just produce in a way that you can see it, color coding really helps to solidify it in your brain. Okay. Color association. So think about that. Okay. Number 6. This is a life skill. Flexibility is key. It really is. Some days you're on a roll, you're like boom, 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 they're getting it. Your teaching style, you got examples, you got manipulatives, you're on point with the lessons. And you look up and you're like, oh, we're done. Y'all go disperse, go do something, because you had a really great day. And then you have days where it's 7 minutes into your day and you're like, why did I decide to homeschool? You sit in the corner sucking on your thumb, rethinking life. Okay. So you're going to have those ebbs and flows where, there are bumps, and then it's just, the Audubon, you're just going 100 miles per hour, no obstructions, and it works for you. Right. So treat those kinds of days the same. What do I mean by that? You have a day that's going very well. What was it that just popped up on my thing? You have a day that's going very well, and you say you finish early, or you're like, you know what, you really got this. Let's wrap this portion up, or this, whatever we're saying, let's wrap this up. Bring in something fun to do. Maybe a project, maybe a documentary. Surprise them. It's like a marriage where you do different things to kind of keep the spice going in the relationship. You have a relationship with your children, so maybe buy something on the down low and keep it hidden, and you can break it out, maybe a board game or a video game, or a snack, or just whatever. Be prepared for that. And so when you finish early, like, boom. And in a way, that is an incentive for your kids to, like, really push through and really try to, get the work done in a manner that's acceptable for them and for you. Now, you had a rough day. You might just have to call time out and be like, game's over. Let's go do something. But you got to be careful, because you don't want your kids to, like, ooh, if we have a bad day, that means we have a free day. You got to watch out, because kids can be conniving, right? It has to be a genuine rough day where any further learning is tantamount to a mutiny. So what you do, you like, all right, y'all, this is not working. There's a lot of struggles going on. Let's reset for tomorrow. So what we're going to do in the meantime, and this is one thing where you want to be prepared. You want to have things like a playlist. For me, my go-to was always having some kind of fun documentary on hand on YouTube, something that was free, something that was easily accessible. I can run it. I can play it on YouTube. I can play it on my TV, or I can put it on my iPad. Heck, I'm used to watching movies on my phone. I would do that. But if you have more kids or younger kids, on the TV, just let them know that it's okay to struggle and to take a break from that and recalibrate and then come back. But you have to really know your child and know when it really is a bad homeschool day, okay? And then you bring in something to end the day on a good note, so the next day you don't have a whole bunch of sourpusses looking at you, including yourself looking at you. So you want to end the day on a good note, okay? So be flexible. You don't be like, oh man, we only got one subject done and we barely finished that. Okay. It's like sports. You lose a big game and you got another game next week. You got to get ready. You got to cut it off, compartmentalize it, and then next day start prepping for the next game. So cut it off, prep with the little incentives you have, and then go to the next day. Okay. So just know you're going to have those kinds of days and just be able to flow with it. Okay. Number 7, the 7th tip for how to structure your homeschool routine. This one's kind of different. It's to celebrate. Y'all know this is not a gimmick. There's a science, there's a psychology behind this. There's neuroscience behind this. When you celebrate small wins or atomic wins by using Atomic Habits, shout out to James Clear, no affiliation. I wish I was, though. You start to naturally take notice of what's going on. We call that metacognition, okay? Awareness of self. So you start to notice when you're having these small wins. That's why when I come on here live, I say, post your wins, however small, so that you can start learning what they look like. A small win is, I put on a dress this morning instead of my bleach stained Longhorn sweatshirt with holes in it, because I always feel frumpy when I wear that. But when I put on a dress, I feel girly. I feel a little more energetic. I feel like I took time for myself. And so I'm loving myself because I took time to put on a decent dress, and I kind of start my day differently. That was a win for me. For others, it could be my child only yelled at me 2 times instead of 20 times. You got to start looking for those wins, which means you're going to be more observant on what's going on in your household, okay, in your environment. So please celebrate those wins, however small. You're having that bad day, okay, end it on a high note, and then that's your win, okay? You can always have a win no matter what. You don't want to celebrate? I know it's kind of rough with the older kids. You sit down with them and you reflect. Okay, it's the feedback that I talked about yesterday. Find out what wasn't working. Mom, I hate this curriculum. I hate this math book. Okay. Sit down and tell me what's going on. I'm here to listen. I can't help you if you don't tell me what the problem is. Maybe we might be able to do something. And then, and keep going at it. Your kid's going to keep saying, no, 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 no. You just keep saying, yes, yes, and nod your head. This is one of those charisma on command techniques. You model, you do something, and then you keep doing it, and then somebody will model it after you. Or if someone is doing it, you model them, but you want the good behavior. So you just keep saying, yes, we're going to talk about it. You don't have to say yes. And then eventually, while they're saying this, like this, and you're open and you're like, yes, okay. So give me just one example. What was the worst thing about it? Because let me tell you what I didn't like. And then you tell me what you didn't like. And then we can compare notes and decide if we need to kick this to the curb or whatever. So don't be afraid to talk to your kids, okay? They have opinions, Lord knows. They got opinions, all right? All right. Let's see. Hey, Antoinette. I keep catching your live, but I'm at work. You know what? I think what I'm going to do, and I haven't decided yet. Okay. So internet says it's called positive reinforcements. It provides the brain with dopamines and the brain craves positive rewards. Yes. In the olden days, we just called it bribery. That's what it was in the workforce. If you're given an incentive to like, hey, I can get a bonus or I can get off work earlier if I do all of these things at work, then you're more likely to work harder or work longer to get those rewards. It is a drug. There is a drug that is in your body that responds to that and acts accordingly. So you have to find that sweet spot where it's just enough of that incentive or that positive reinforcement, or for the old heads, the bribe. You need just enough. There's a threshold where if you go just enough but not enough, in Atomic Habits, they talk about that big time. There's a whole science on it, and they give you charts, and it talks about how much, boom, the dopamine spike. See that right here? Right here. So you have to be choosy with how you do it, because if you do it too early, it's a waste of time. If you do it too late, what happens if you do it too late? I forgot. I might need to bookmark that and make that a video in and of itself. But if you do it too late, it's like a 10% success rate because it's not taken seriously, because the high is pretty much past, right? It's like something exciting happens to a group of people, but they've already been exposed to it, and then you come in like 5 seconds after they've been told something. Yeah, they're all happy. You're coming in. What happened? We just did this. And you're jumping in, but you didn't have that initial dopamine spike when you first heard the information in the group. So you're kind of getting a little bit later, and so you don't have that high up as high of a high as the rest of the group, because you got your dopamine spike later. And then they have anyway, they just have 4 entry points for when to do that. So I'm glad you brought that up, Antoinette, because that should be a video in and of itself, because a lot of us, we bribe our kids, and we need to know, how do I bribe? That is a topic for a new video. How to bribe, which means I need to reread that section, right? How to bribe effectively. I'm so glad. That's why I love talking to you guys, because there is a science to it, right? How many times have you just said, hey, if you clean your room, I'll give you this, or maybe you withhold privileges, but it's just like, whatever. You want to hit that sweet spot. So thank you for I'm looking for my bookmark. Oh, here it is. Antoinette. Okay. Got a little bookmark for that. So, all right. Let's see, what else do we have? Antoinette says, we have to always look for teachable moments. Some of us function better during the morning and some do better during the evening. My boys like to do their studies in the evening. Exactly. And that goes to number 1, which is, are you a morning person or a night owl? You need to know your rhythm. Your rhythm might be different from your kids. I'm a morning person. 4:30 in the morning, my body is up. I don't get out of bed. My body is up. I've always been like that my entire life. And I like that. But my kids, well, when your kids are really, really small, they're up at the crack of dawn to watch cartoons. And then for some reason, like in middle school, it drops off, and then they sleep till whenever. But you have to walk that line of, especially if you have a number of kids and they all have different sleep patterns, you have to wrangle that to where you can get stuff done. Maybe you can stagger things. Like my kids are 2 years apart, so it wasn't too hard for me to stagger things where I had a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary kid. My high schooler and my middle schooler, I let them sleep in a little bit longer, because at that point in their lives, developmentally, they need more sleep, and I understood that. So I didn't schedule online classes early in the morning. I didn't I let them sleep, basically. And then for my youngest one, we would get a lot of our work done while his older brothers slept in. And then when they woke up, younger one can go chill, do some independent reading, and then I would get going with the older brothers. So that's mixing it up, right? Like I think we talked about that yesterday. Mix and match everything. All right. Let's see. I think I saw one more comment. Hey, Danielle. It's good seeing all of these all my old school veterans. Hey, Niki, I missed you over the summer. I actually sent my kids back to school this year because I had a baby over the summer. I miss homeschooling and this community. I'm going to keep supplementing at home, so I'll keep watching. Oh my gosh, I have a video. This is one reason why I wanted to do these lives, to see when I can get most people on, because I have a number of announcements to make. And let me just tell you, there are so many homeschoolers who have, hopscotch back and forth between homeschooling and public private schooling, and it's perfect. You have to do what's best for your family, and you'll have seasons where I know Homeschool on the Hill. Oh, I forget that sweet sister's name. I need to check out her channel. She homeschooled, and then I forget which child it was, he went off to high school for 9th grade. He did the year. I believe he did the full year. And then afterward, he was like, it was fine, but I prefer to be homeschooled. And then he came back home. So I know there's another homeschooler. I think she has like 6 kids. And this was like, I think 4 or 5 years ago. And she was having a rough pregnancy. And I think she was on bed rest. I think she had like a prolapsed uterus or something like that. So, she's like, y'all got to get out the house so I can have this baby. So, you jump in, you jump out. If you're jumping in, like I've done, because I've had kids that were homeschooled and public school, I after school, exactly what you're doing. So, and I think I have an old video on that, but the lighting and sound was horrible, but I might put it up with a big caveat, like, don't judge me. Don't judge this video. But it's good to see you, Danielle. Congratulations on the baby. I was gone this summer. I was having my own baby, so to speak. And I'll be talking about that soon. But I'm glad to have you back, my dear. And Jeanette says, that was hard for me in the beginning of homeschool because I needed to be deschooled from public school. Exactly. I've always coached the parents I've been around that are, especially during the pandemic, especially around my area. It's not school at home. You have to, for however long you're in public school, for every year you're in public school, it's like they recommend you have a month of deschooling. Because it takes that amount of time and even longer. It just depends on how entrenched you were in the school system. When the kids are smaller, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. But say if you're pulling out like 4th, 5th, definitely in middle school and stuff like that, it takes time for both of you to deschool, because you're still holding on to a public school mindset, a public school schedule, and you don't even realize it a lot of times. So the deschooling is getting to reconnect with your child, reconnecting with resources, or connecting with resources for the first time, just seeing what's out there. You're being a detective. So it's actually a fun time. I remember when we deschool, although my son was only in 2nd grade, so it wasn't that much to deschool when I pulled him out of public school. But yeah, it can be hard. That's why having a homeschool routine really helps to take that pressure off of you. I have other videos on homeschool routines. As a matter of fact, I need to link that when we're done here. And then in one of the latest video I have on homeschool routines, I talk about you don't want to be tied to a time, right? So if you tie your subjects to events rather than a clock, it's so much easier for you. And by events, I'm talking about let's do your easiest subjects right after lunch, or let's do your hardest subjects right before lunch, or after PE, or before recess we do science, or after recess we do science, because we need the rest of the afternoon to get messy and not have to worry about cleaning up to do English, right? So you start taking those blocks and arranging them, the puzzle pieces, and seeing what kind of fits here and what doesn't fit. So if you look at it in terms of events, like in the morning, let's do 2 subjects, and that can rotate. In the afternoon, let's do 3 subjects. Or if you're really like a morning household, hey, let's knock out 3 subjects in the morning. Lunch, PE. After that, we do 2 subjects. Or, you can just chop it up like so many different ways. Or you can do something like, okay, after a difficult subject for you, we pair it with an easy or really likable subject as a way for you to decompress from a subject that you hate or that you struggle with, right? So you want to look at the big picture of, okay, we can do this around this time, this time, this time, and then the smaller micro picture where you're like, okay, based on your personality, or like how you're dealing with these subjects, we can do this. Like, I know, okay, darling, you have a heavy schedule because you're in high school. Let's and Wednesdays, when you have the bulk of your classes, maybe your child does some online classes too, things that aren't really movable. You can factor in, okay, you know what? On Wednesdays, when you have all these subjects, Thursday is a light schedule. You do the subjects that you like the most, and you spend more time doing that. And you just go from there. Or you plan something that child can do, independent research, independent project, just something where that child can be independent and on his or her own after being managed by teachers the previous day. So just some things to think about. But in my previous video, and I'll put a link in the description below, I go more into depth about how to really structure a routine. Today was just a general because it's live, but we're at 37 minutes. But thank you for the heart, guys. I appreciate that. But just know it's not the end of the world. I give you examples of how you can chop things up. Okay. All right. Any other comments? Antoinette says, I still have my moments and have to catch myself, and we're in year 5. Girl, I was in year 15 and I was like, sometimes you forget things. Sometimes you're just tired. You're burnt out. Other times you just don't you don't. You go through these phases, right? And it gets to the best of us, So the most, uh, hardened warrior to the, the little neophyte, it gets to us, and it's okay. It's all about how do you recover, right? I used to put time slots on the boys' schedules, and that put so much pressure on them and myself. So we all felt rushed. So I removed the time slots and just let them flow. Which I'm glad you said that, because, oh, hold on. This is so I haven't talked about it a lot, but I started talking about it like yesterday. Is my daily plan checklist. Now you see here, I got to figure out how I can put my face on here, but you see here, that won't work. I don't have time on here. Absolutely not. No time. Now, I used to have a homeschool schedule back in the day. Now, I would put the times, but I wasn't tied to it. I just knew in the morning I wanted these done. So I would do like 9 to 11, these 2 or 3 subjects done, and then 12 to 3, these subjects. But I didn't really need the time. Excuse me. It was just something for me to see. But for this, and by the way, this is free. There's a link in my description box down below. You can get this. It's really simple. I'm probably gonna redo it and make some more copies, like for older kids, because they're not doing sight words, spelling words and stuff like that. If your kid, wants to use it, or if you want to do it for your child, so you have a record, especially if you're let me just move over here so y'all can see me, especially if you're in a state that requires record keeping, have something like that. It's real easy to do. You just jot down one sentence, read one chapter and Revolutionary War in China or something. I don't know, page 58, history done, just make it easy for yourself, because then it gets done. But this is free. It's for you. And let me just make a list, because y'all know I make lists and then I forget to look at my list sometimes. So update the daily plan checklist. Okay, how am I on time? Okay, I'm good on time. Okay, So I'm gonna get this down. And then finally, wait, I got one more comment. Let me get caught up with the comments. Let's see, I like that when I get on with you live. Oh, Antoinette, I checked yesterday. I didn't see your email. I'm going to check really quickly. Let me see, and then I'll send you. So guys, if you ever want to come on live with me, email me your email address to my, that sounds crazy. Email me at homeschoolknockouts@gmail. I'm going to put, hey, love for all. I'm going to put it in here. Homeschool knockouts. I should make that a sticky thing so I don't have to keep typing it out. Homeschool knockouts. Did I spell it right? That is the name of my channel. At Gmail. All right. Homeschool knockouts. All right. Email me. Just tell me who you are on YouTube if your name is different in your email. Just say, hey, it's Antoinette, it's me. That's all you need to say. And or just say, give me the link, but I'll know. And I'll email it to you. And the reason why StreamYard does that is to keep spammers from coming in. Because I remember back in the day when I first started with StreamYard, we had these little corn, but with a P, people bombarding the chat thing and getting in and trying. When I opened, it was a mess. So so that helps me to just have a permanent link for you, and you can always just use that to come on live. Okay. But it's good to see you. Love for all. I haven't seen a lot of homeschoolers because I haven't been on any homeschool channels. I've been a hermit. Like I've been away, like Danielle. So I'm trying to get back into things. I'm trying to do it with some sense of a routine where I have certain days so I can be consistent, because that allows me to be a bit more organized, and then I can do more things. Okay. Oh, so this is the email. You can send that to me if you want the link or if you want to say hi or whatever. Okay. You just saw that I was live. I'm glad you got that notification. Any other comments? We are 42 minutes in. Oh, and then the last one, the last tip is, did I do celebrate? Yeah, I did celebrate. Okay. Is rinse and repeat. Okay. If you don't write anything down, or if you don't make any kind of notation of what you've done that works, you will forget. Trust me. I do when I menu plan, and when I like write it down on my calendar, I'm like, oh, cool, I can make that meal again. But when I don't write it down, I can't remember anything. It's like the time I do forget, it erases everything else in my life. It's like the stick on Men in Black, that black pen, and then your memory's wiped. So if I go a couple of days without writing it down, I'm like, oh shoot, what did I have last week? What did I cook last week? And I'm like, well, go look back in your thing. But in the meantime, like, I can't remember anything. So write it down. Just jot down something. Reflect on what was working. Like that you're teaching multiple kids, and you're doing history or science, which are two great subjects to teach kids, multiple kids at the same time. And you're like, man, for some reason, right after breakfast, they'd love to do history. Mental note. And do that again. Because if you're kind of just flying by the seat of your pants after breakfast, you might be like, all right, you go grab your math book and you go grab your sponge. But mom, we want to do history. Well, I ain't got time to do history. I ain't prepared for history. I got to do what I'm prepared to do. So, but if you write down, did this, successful, kids love the vibe, whatever, then you're more apt to make that a routine, because that's an easy win. We need easy wins, okay? We need those. So if you see those wins, you can repeat them. If you see those losses, you can avoid them. Okay? You're like, okay, I'm learning my kids, or I'm relearning my kids. Let me see what's working, what's not working. When you see what's not working, you want to know what's not working, because you'll forget quickly. In a couple of days, you'll forget, and then you'll pull out what you just did that did not work, and your kids will be like, there goes your morning, there goes your afternoon. Kids dragging their feet like quicksand. Okay, so just jot down something, just some little notes, whatever, and then tweak as needed, and then rinse and repeat. Don't make it hard for yourself. Okay, homeschool schedules / routines. It doesn't have to be hard. It's just you just got to take the pulse of your house and then adjust accordingly. Okay, anybody have any questions or successes or anything that's worked for you with your homeschool routine? Let's see. Thank you for the live. I enjoyed listening on my homeschool lunch break. Oh, that's great, Melissa. While the kids are eating lunch in the other room. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I've always had to do is just like as my kids got older. Okay, here's a bonus tip. But let me read what Kala2 Kamara says. I'm still learning how to work with my ASD child during the day. So, Kala2, so depending on the severity, whether your child is mild to moderate to severe, you definitely want to work you want to work with a lot of breaks and with a technique that's called the Pomodoro. Let me see if I'm spelling that right. It's Pomo or Promo. I think it's Pomodoro technique. And what that is, yeah, Pomodoro. I'll put this in the let me just share my screen really quickly. Over screen share. Oh, right in front of me. Okay, so what that is, and for those of you who don't know, ASD means autism spectrum disorder. I'm sure it has a different name now because they're always changing things up in the diagnostic manual. But Pomodoro. Okay. Okay, so let me just share this. Okay, so can I make that bigger? Okay. Wait, let me move me. Can I move myself? Remove from 15, 30 minutes? No, because I didn't. As a matter of fact, Kala2, I have an old video where I go, let me just pull it up. Where I go over time management with what we used to call the autism clock. Let me go to my channel. I want to pull that up. Um, for kids. Homeschool. I think I was that homeschool like that back then. Okay. Just give me a second because if I can help somebody on the fly, I'd like to do that. Okay. My video better come up. That video is like 4 years old. Okay. So let me share the screen. Oh, Lord, look at all that makeup I was wearing back then. All right. Let me share my screen. Hold on, y'all. All right. Share screen. Okay. Time management tips. Okay. So, oh, yeah, that's old. Okay. Y'all see my kids. All right. So, well, let me play it. Let me go to the clock so you can see it. Where's the clock? Okay, here we go. So this, okay. So, oh, you guys can't see it?
And they can get a sense of time.
Let me just
That's for my kids. This is Pac-Man. They get a sense of time. You know, how time elapses.
Okay, I can't.
And they can start to kind of process.
This clock is based on elapsed
less time. The red's getting smaller. For your older kids, fractions.
On the
what do we got here?
Time is very abstract.
You can build so much into this. So
IG the other day, I was
they know a half circle is okay. I'm good. I'm good. I got time to finish. You know,
concrete interpretation.
You better get going.
Very abstract.
So, and then as it elapses,
how long is a minute?
They can start regulating themselves
and so you
with a task that they're working on to get it done.
Generalize or associate that
but said in the very loving way.
You might bake something and it takes
and then
hour,
it goes off, and
a frame of reference. Oh,
there's your sound. Now you have the option of boom, pushing that button, and I'm sorry, not that button. the back, you can turn off the sound.
Something that
you can hang this up,
typically a
or
1 minute
you can
activity
pull out the little
or
arms.
5-minute
Now one is
activity
broken
or
on
an hour.
this one's broken,
And
but
then
you have these two little
your
arms.
child has a better
like that,
frame of reference.
and then you
Or
can set it up.
Like a
and
second will be like
set it down on the
tapping your
table
hand.
or a flat surface.
That's a second.
And don't sit up like
now
that.
your kid
So,
can start to see.
takes one,
Anyway, so
one AA
with,
battery.
The promo
and that's it. You're good to go. I love this, guys. This works so much because with Meatloaf, he really had a hard time just transitioning from one thing to the other. And me saying, okay, you got 5 minutes, there's 3 minutes, that meant nothing to him. I could have been saying, you got 5 years. He had no concept of that. And, you know, at that age, it's hard for kids to understand that. But they get big and small really quickly. You know, like your cookie's bigger than my cookie. You know, you have more orange juice than I. So they start to grasp that number sense too. They start to grasp that concept. And that worked so well. So the tantrums went down like that. So I highly recommend that. It's called Time Timer. It is a bit pricey. I think I paid like $35 for it from the actual website. The company. I have seen them on eBay,
but for certain kids,
they do bid up. Like starting bid at $5, and then they bid up. So I mean, just your best bet if you don't want to spend a lot of money, get the small ones. I think those are $15, and you might be able to get a deal on eBay.
You start with,
but the small one actually, I should get that because you can take it with you. Wherever you go, so you know it helps when you know you're like you're at the park. You're like, okay, dude,
5 minutes,
you know,
and then
whatever helps you get through the day, get through that moment. Just use it.
Saying 15, 30 minutes.
That's my share with you today. So if you thought this was helpful, give me a like,
at least 4 or 5
share the video,
4 days in a row,
subscribe or comment, and let me know what you think. Also, if you have any suggestions for how you use a time timer, it doesn't have to be this one. Leave a comment below. I would love to hear it.
I know I did a video on it. I don't know if I uploaded it.
I even use this for myself. Like
I was still learning.
Like usually I'll have this over here while I'm talking to you.
It's time for an update.
But I'm using my phone because I'm using this now, and for some reason I forgot.
Dear. Okay,
the timer on my my camera. I lost it. I don't know how. I'm gonna have to go through the menu and play around with it. So
ooh, I almost closed the live. Okay, all right. Paige says, "Oh, you're welcome, Kalatu." It looks French to me. I hope I'm saying that right. Or Kalatu. But you're very much welcome. Okay. Paige, hey Paige, I appreciate all these tips. I need to refresh and actually write down a routine for all of us to see. My kids are taking too much control of the day and have a hard time getting much done. You know what? Is my purse over here? No, but I think I took something out. I have I can't get past all these lights and cables. Anyway, let me just make a note. Because y'all, my old heads, I put out a mega homeschool planner, and I have a whole bunch of different schedules you can use. Mega homeschool planner. I need to update that because I did it with a whole bunch of color. I need to make it black and white. But yeah, we all need to just have a refresher. Maybe it's something you've known about. You just haven't had time to just sit and think about it and then use it. That's why they tell you, like in marketing, you present something to somebody at least 10, 15, 20 times. You know, like with kids, they say give your child exposure to like broccoli or vegetables at least 50 times. By the 51st time or the 72nd time, something weird number, they'll say yes. You just have to keep presenting that. So, you know, sometimes, you know, I might repeat myself, but it's because sometimes it doesn't go through the first time. Maybe you're cooking and listening to me and, you know, you kind of miss some things, or you're trying to homeschool and listen to with one ear pod in, or just whatever. And so it just helps just to hear it. And then you're like, oh, okay, I can do this. Let me bring this in. So, I'm glad you said that, Paige, because, when your kids are taking too much control, when they're controlling the day, you got to reel it back in. Okay. And this is a great way to like take inventory of what's going on and then go for it with that. Okay. Let's do one more comment. Do you have both videos playing? Oh, shoot. I just turned it off. I hope y'all can't see it. No, I closed it. Yes, I did. So if you guys heard the audio, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see that the video was still on. So thank you, Antoinette, for being my executive producer for that segment. All right, guys, we are 55 minutes in. If you found some value in this, please put a like on the video to let YouTube know I exist and to let me know you find some value in this, because I could be in a corner somewhere hiding from my kids eating some Werthers. So that concludes our 3-day test series to see, what our new live schedule is going to be. I do feel like Friday was our best day, and I think I can do Friday mornings. So I'm going to sit down and see what makes the most sense. So we'll see. But I'm happy you guys came in, and those of you who stuck with me, my diehards, thank you so much. If you have any other questions or comments, get them in now before I get out of here. And I will see you on the next share next week. So any other questions, comments, wonderings? We're getting back into the swing of things, guys. Into the swing of things. Also, if you have a YouTube channel, put it in the comments and let me know so I can shout you out and go and support you and subscribe to you if I haven't already done so. Let me know, okay? We got to, support everybody. There's enough abundance in the universe for everybody to eat and to do well. Okay, you're welcome, Jennifer Eden. She says thank you. You're welcome. Oh, you're from Facebook. I just saw that. Oh, wait a minute. Color 2, you're from Facebook too. I'm so used to just reading the comments and not looking at the pictures. Oh, okay. We got some Facebook people. I guess I need to get back active on Facebook. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Have a wonderful week, the rest of the week and weekend. And I will see you. Now, this weekend, I'm going to post what the live schedule is going to be for next week. I'm still working on it, y'all, but I'm back. That's my win for today. I said, oh, Lord, let me get through this week with all these live videos. And it's fun. And when I have you guys come on live, it'll be that much more fun. So I'm out of here. I love you guys. Put a like on the video. Leave a comment below. I will leave the link to the... Oh, shoot. What was that video I was supposed to link to? Oh, homeschool schedules. All right. I'm out of here. Thank you, Antoinette. I appreciate that. Hi, life in the city. You look cute. Thank you for stopping by, my dear. And I'll see you guys later. And let me know going forward, if you have a channel, shout it out in the comments, and let's go and support you guys. All right, I'm out of here. Bye-bye.